Good morning, Coach, and good morning, Mr. Quillen.
Morning.
And good morning to Acción Deportiva fans and also the football lovers in Belize. We are here this morning to basically discuss a bit of the ongoings of the national team on the coaching side and also the managerial side that Mr. Quillen will be talking to us. So we're going to start off with our questions from Facebook directed to the coach, and then we'll move on with the managerial aspect of it. So we have William Andres Gonzalez asking to Mr. Vincenzo, Alberto, Annese. He says, what are your strategies to be implemented so that we can move on to a more competitive football in knowing that world is moving to a much higher level, and if you can also monitor how players are being upgraded or how players are just not giving their best on national team?
Okay, good morning everybody, to the channel, to all supporters and fan. Well, first of all I want to say that we try to change the system because we try to improve different kind of the system during the training. So I try to improve the 4-4-2 and to make more international vision in this kind of competition. Because CONCACAF we play also again international players, so we try to improve the system more to switch in 4-3-3 with 4-4-2 with attack in mind. So I like to attack more than defend. And we select 5 international players abroad. So we come next time. They will come like last time with Nana, Bernardets, Deon, and Tony Rocha. They play in MLS. So in Padilla they play in Guatemala. So we try to improve more system that we can adapt in international level. Because I know that in the league, in Premier League of Belize, we play with only one system, 3-5-2, only one team like Verdes, play with 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, so I'm so glad for this. So we try more to focus on the system and integration of all the foreigner players inside this system.
Okay, Jose Cerritos asked if you would be interested in working with the PLB club so that you can firm your style of play amongst, since PLB is one of the main leagues that provides players for the national team.
Well, it will be great, but then I will give away the job of the coaching. I study a lot the Premier League of Belize. I go to see all players in Belize Premier League in first division, second division. And we know that they play only with one system, so we try to improve, to speak with the coach, but I cannot guarantee to change the way of the training, to change the environment inside this system to each club. So I'm national team coach. I think about my team. I cannot think about Premier League team. Of course, it will be great to have more space to speak with more coach. We have already some meeting before like 2 months when I come here, and we spoken about idea of the football. Some we are agree, some we are not agree, but as normal, each coach have some mentality. We have also international coach from Peru that coaching in Verdes. That is one of the big clubs in Premier League. So, and we are very similar each other so I'm happy with communication with the coach. But of course, the coach, they can choose the system, they can choose the way that they train. So I concentrate more about the national team.
Okay, Enrique Roberts and Emilia, the last 2 questions. Both of them are asking if you get to select all the players, or if there is something that is being imposed to you by the federation.
No, of course I get. When I sign the contract with the president, I have a free hand to do what I want, to select what I want, to train when I want. All members of Football Federation of Belize, they give freedom to select what I want.
Okay.
If I will not be a coach anymore, so they can bring another instructor, then they select the player. For this point, I want to spoken with some supporter, because also I read some comment in the social media, because we have a small community, so it's nice to see the opinion of the supporter. I select many young guys from second division, even from Progresso, from first division to Atletico, from Premier League to Independence to Aguia. These young guys, most of the time, they are very not serious to come to the training, to come to the process of the system. So I cannot select these young guys only when we are calling to international game. And the mentality that the seniors that are there, and there are more professional than other players, is because this senior, I can say the name like Yellow, like Pandey, like West, like Shane, like Smith, like Dalton, Healy. They play outside the country. Yeah. When you play outside the country, the rules are very strict, and they respect the rule more than everybody. And this kind of the player, when they come to the training, they are very serious. So I prefer to select the senior, even the young guys, they have quality, but the senior come to training. We miss many time. I call many players from second division, third division, they don't come to training at all. How can select one player if they don't come to training? I don't want to say the name, but many times I select the young guys because they have talent, without any kind of international experience, to improve the system, to improve the training, to improve like teammate, but they don't show up. So for many reasons, I select the senior player that can at least guarantee power in the team and presence in the team. This is very important. The supporter, they must know the reality of the selection. They don't must only say, hey, there are million talent. When I call the talent from Atletico, from Belize City, from Punta Corda, I call many players from San Pedro.
Yeah.
They don't show up.
And that's the, now we'll move on to Samaran Quinn, who is in charge of the national team. That's the case that we want to discuss. Asrel Sutherland, a good player, one of Belize's best young defenders that should be on the national team, but is not on the national team, not because he don't want to be, but because he has a full-time job, and when he is in camp with the national team, he loses off that, and he lives in an island where life is so not cheap. So he clarifies to us in an interview that his will is to be a national team, but he also has a life, and again, that's where we ask the Football Federation of Belize, or asking Mr. Quinn, can something be done for players like that, that do have the will, that do have the talent, but cannot be stipend or something that so that they could be on national team? Yes.
Sorry, can I ask? Sorry.
Yeah, answer before him.
Well, I make one example about Italy. Juventus player, they get 100% more than when they go to play with Italian Football Federation. When they go to Italy, for sure the guys, they lost some money. It's normal that they go to Italy Football Federation, they lost some money, because in Juventus they signed, I don't know, million contract for million.
But they do
so,
get paid for the time.
Yeah, but I want to say, the guys, they are calling to national team for 2 days in the week. And the federation, we pay this today. There are no big money, sure, but federation give this money, 100%. I saw with my eyes. There is no excuse, even you lost $100, $150, you for $150 you don't come for the national team, there is any excuse. Be honest with me, I feel ashamed to speak about this, but for me, for $100, there is any excuse that the player they can miss one training, or they can miss the call of national team. You must be proud of your national team.
Yeah, and he does.
I will tell the truth. I also, when I was national team young of Italy, I go and lost maybe the money for reach the camp of Firenze. But I don't care. I mean, I think about my life. I think my career. I think about my country. Yeah. They must be proud about them country. It doesn't matter my job, because we know that Premier League player, they have second job. I mean, first they have a job. Second, they play football. So they are semi-professional. Because of this, the Premier League is semi-professional. I understand. But for today, I think one player, they don't must have any kind of complaint. They must only come. The behavior of the player, they come. Also here, there is a lot of players that yellow, they go to, even they have different job like government job, but...
Yeah, but that's the difference for the guys that work with the government. They do get exempted and they do get paid for the years. Other than you work on a private job or work like in the island, where if you miss work, you will not be compensated on work. So
sure, but for me, you lost $100. It's not enough for like his national team. Yeah. So it's very important. We talk about $100. I mean, with $100, you don't become poor. Yeah. You don't. I don't know. You don't. $100 is nothing for me, because no, each week we call national team. I make training now for this 8 week. You can say that in national team you lost $800. So in $800, it's so much money. I mean, there is no excuse for me. So if you one person, I hear the him conference, but be honest, I don't know why we talk about this. We must talk about the player that we are in the team now, not the player that there are no in the team.
Yeah.
Morning. In the past, once you make the team, for instance, you have a tryout period, but then once the coach selects the 25 or whatever amount of players necessary to continue training with the team, at that point is when you start receiving a stipend for showing up to training. Unfortunately, at the time when Asrel was training with the team, we weren't paying the stipend as yet. We were just reimbursing the transportation costs.
Traveling expenses.
But since then, we have started paying the stipends, and in some instances where a player would lose income, we would assist in subsidizing for that loss of income.
But that wasn't the case with him.
That wasn't the case with him because the team wasn't picked as yet. He stopped right at the point when we started.
Okay.
But I have spoken to the coach about it, and it's his decision who he chooses from who he doesn't choose. He has a free rein, like he said before. We, at the federation, my job is to facilitate the coach with whatever he needs.
You are the link between the coach and the federation.
That's right. Okay. I don't have any say in who he chooses. We get a lot of complaints about some of the older players that have been called, but it's not my job to tell the coach, you know what, we don't think that this player is adequate enough.
Fit for a national team.
He asked for to see these players. We facilitate that process, and then he chooses the players that he thinks can take the team forward.
Okay, so basically the case with Sutherland was he was not selected, or he left just before the stipend was given.
And I spoke to him, actually I didn't know he gave you that interview. Okay. But on the same day I was speaking to him about it. And I asked him to send me his pay slips and stuff so we could look at it.
Okay.
But yeah, so unfortunately it is where it is right now.
Okay. Also, talking about...
And I must also say that Jesse Smith
Yeah,
from San Pedro.
Yeah, that was a
It's the
hard
same thing. I have some text messages where we agreed that we would subsidize his loss of income, but he still didn't show.
Okay.
And I mean, we can't force anybody to.
Yeah, it's a free will, but Asrel surely showed the will, but also he had the income problem. Then, just the last question towards you about the recent Camilo Sanchez incident.
Yes.
That was against the Football Federation of Belize, whereby he wasn't accommodated as he was, or as he had expected.
Yeah. What happened is that there is so much activities going on with the federation right now that it's very difficult.
Yeah.
In fact, this dorm is almost 100% booked. During that week, we had the referee assistance program, which is a FIFA course.
Okay.
And we had 25 referees here at the federation. The team was supposed to train early, but instead they changed to a friendly match, which had to be at a later time than originally planned. And so there are 3 players that had to stay behind. So the secretariat prepared the medical room with beds and fans for those players that had to stay behind. But rather than calling, and I keep telling the players, if you have a problem with anything, they all know my number, and we're in a group chat, contact me, and we will fix it. Unfortunately, by the time I was contacted about the situation,
It was on media.
it was already on social media. And right away, before I knew it was on social media, I arranged with a local player from Donovan to pick up the guys from here and take them to a hotel. Then when I heard it's on social media, and it's unfortunate that the younger players these days think that that's the way to vent. But you know, it's unnecessary, really, because we do our utmost best to have this coaching staff and the players be very comfortable.
And what will you guys do to improve the number of calories? Since during the last trainings or the last workouts, there is a poor turnout of the national team members. So maybe there's a problem that you guys might need to rectify, knowing that we are just days away of St Kitts Nevis.
Well, sometimes the players don't get the time off. Sometimes it's not. We must admit that we're not where we need to be as yet. There's still at times a communication or miscommunication. There's a gap there. But the idea is to send out the letters to the employers with the schedule so that they can give the players the time off necessary. So that's what the area we are looking to improve.
Knowing
But
that,
of course, a lot of times too, that some of these players, like the coach, he calls up and stuff, and especially the guy with Atletico, the employer just refused to give him the time.
Orlando Galdames
Refused to give him the time off.
saw a letter,
Which is very unfortunate, because as an employer, I would believe if I was an employer and my employee is on a national team,
Yeah, should be proud.
I would be proud of
But I
it.
guess that's where government comes in. Bills should be passed that
Well,
surely would force you, if in case you are unwilling, to lend your players to a national
Well,
team. Because it's
that's-
very fortunate that for that reason you cannot be on a national team.
Yeah.
And that's-
A lot case, no only Atletico, a lot case. We call a lot player outside.
we have it with the younger teams also, that they can't get time off from school. We went as far as taking teachers with us on a trip to Panama. I think it was when the U17 went 2 years ago, so that and have the players take their schoolwork with them, so they wouldn't lose out on their assignments. But it's a big challenge for us, and we try to we try our very best. I must tell you to mitigate these issues, but it's very, very difficult.
Also, last question regarding the warning by CONCACAF that the field trip to French Guyana is the last warning, and then Belize might be kicked out of the tournament if it do repeat. So, is the preparation going to St Kitts Nevis, knowing that we will travel?
Oh no, those tickets were bought 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Trust me, there was no stone left unturned for us to reach French Guiana. And in fact, I think that the decision brought down by the CONCACAF disciplinary committee was a slap on the wrist for us, because all they were really expecting back from us is the reimbursement of the monies they gave for that trip. They went through a lot of expenses, assigning referees, match commissioners, event coordinators, and having them fly to French Guiana, hotels, ground transportation that were arranged for our team. They could have passed on those fines or those expenses to us. But they saw, I believe, the effort that we made after our plane was damaged. And because we were having difficulties getting another airline to take us, they took it over from us. And they themselves had the difficulties, and in the end, it was impossible to get us there. So they are fully aware of the efforts that went on for us to get to that match. And it's unfortunate because we even took the staff and a bunch of players to Guatemala. It cost us almost $30,000 to get the visa. And so I can't comprehend why anybody would think that after we did all that, we've been training for so long, that we wouldn't want to go and play the match. I mean, it's just unfortunate. That's all, you know.
Going back to coach on the football aspect, how is the team prepared mentally for this St Kitts challenge? St Kitts is the unbeaten team, and also they are the leaders on the group. So how you prepare that match, knowing that we lost a huge one against Grenada, and bouncing back here at Isidoro first, and then visiting St Kitts?
We are ready. We was ready also in the last game, but all support they must understand that we are new, and we are. If I compare the last competition, the last team that Belize have, there was really a lot new player in the team. Norman Anderson, example, he was playing like in friendly game. He never played 90 minutes official game, and he playing CONCACAF this 90 minutes. Camilo Sanchez, he was playing 20 minutes. He never played in CONCACAF. We have Bernarders, the new guys that come from Honduras, and they get the naturalization because was born here. Is totally 100% Belizean. So Tony Rocha.
Was a good highlight on that game.
We are really new. Robert Akin, never played in senior team of national team. Jan Lewis is another midfielder that they can play next week. Is new for national team. He never played international game.
He's doing good with me.
He is going very good. His talent. In Belize we have a lot of talents. I mean, we have Christian Lopez that I don't know why he still continue to play in Belize Premier League. Christian Lopez is poor talent. I hope they can go outside to play in another country, because he's an amazing player. So we are a new team, and we are ready mentally. We need to make one good mix of international, and now we have this experience that we already play against Grenada. So I'm very positive for next game against St Kitts.
What are the changes that we do expect, knowing that against Grenada our defense was one of the main problems? We are always not on point on the players, going into the deep analysis. So what have you learned of that match, and what changes do we expect, knowing that we have been informed that Elroy Smith is back in training with national team, so that could be a solution on our problems last game?
No, it's of course Smith have a very international experience in the central, like central back, and more quality to possession the ball from the back, more calm with ball, more control. But be honest with everybody, it's not that we get the last minute goal and we don't perform as well in defensive phase, because before to come to defensive phase we must analyze our attacking. So the first to defensive phase start from our attacking. So if the attack don't press them, so we struggle in the middle. So the middle is the first time that play together Tony Rocha and Nana. We miss some communication defensive phase, so we will try to improve first defense in attack, and after that in the middle in the defense. So it's not that our defense they don't perform as well. Our defense they perform very well. If you look that we take goal in the last 93 minutes, maybe we can think also that our physical condition was so high because they was playing already the second game, they was playing the first game after the trip was going on in French Guiana. So it's all mixed that we lost the game in the last minutes also. So, but I'm really positive for the next game against St Kitts.
Misael, I must add that we at the Federation we have been placing a lot of emphasis on the youth tournaments and youth national teams. Because and sending them out to play internationally, so they get that exposure from very young. Instead of waiting,
how well would we respect the process, or how would these players, or how can we ensure that these players that are actually getting the experience will be the future national team?
Well, that's the idea, because in fact, as you know, the coach is also the national team coach for the U15. So we have what we hope to become a process that it continues. In our strategic plan, we have it for the next 3 years, where these programs will continue. So the players are now getting that international exposure, so that when they get to the AA national team, all that is behind them.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a smooth transition, even with the style of play.
Okay. Also, you mentioned Randy Padilla, so that means he is being called back to national team?
Yeah.
Okay. A strange case like Denmark Kiese, one of Belize's talented midfielders, what is his situation with national team? Since we have seen his name on the call-ups, we don't see him on World Cup.
Well, Denmark Kiese, there was also called to us, and he was have a problem to the knee, so he refused to come because he have some problem to the knee. After that, now they get well, so next week we hope that he can come with us from Monday.
I've had a discussion with him since last week, and in fact we're sending him his CEO in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture special leave letter, and she's going to get that today, so that Denmark Kiese can now rejoin the team.
Okay, that's good news. Also, we do have many players that, for situations like those, haven't been showing up. So that's the sad part. Every player should have the same conditions to present themselves and then prove us wrong or prove us right in regards to the national team. Sure. So also, what do we expect from Belize in this upcoming match, knowing that we are steps away, or we are currently in the last position, and then that step away of going down to Group C of the this new tournament, or this new format that CONCACAF is inventing. But also 3 points give us a possibility to move on to World Cup. Also, since this new tournament give us a playoff against the third team of the A group. I don't know if how deep you have analyzed these situations, but the possibilities are still there for Belize.
The football is a risk. I saw a lot negative comment. They talk about Belize, they will lost again, Belize. No, but we are another game. We play at home. We must defend our home. I hope that all supporters come to see the game this time, to really support, not to criticize. And we are at 0 point, it's true. 2 games, 0 point. Doesn't matter why we don't go. We have 0 point, but now it's another game, and we can. One win, they will put our bet voice outside.
Yeah.
So I like to think that we will win, and then after that we'll see what they will say.
Yeah, and a win away will surely bring back the people, because
Sure.
recent memory against Grenada,
They
match
don't come
that
a lot,
Belize
people.
won, no, not this one, the friendly one that Belize won 4-2. It was a full Isidoro Beaton Stadium against Puerto Rico in the official match. It was a full Isidoro Beaton
Yeah.
Stadium. So it shows that the fans will come once the results are also there. So I think the national team winning this game against St Kitts Nevis will surely bring back the public, because Isidoro Beaton Stadium in the last 3 games of the national team was packed. But then after Grenada, on the official match for the CONCACAF Nations League, surely the fans weren't there. So that's where marketing and also the good results should accompany the national team, so that fans can come back to.
Sure, the
because
fans-
the prices are also accessible. We must say that the price,
We've kept it down.
$20 for a national team game is no complaint. That's a good price.
Another country that was more expensive, the ticket of to going to watch a national team game.
But what the fans must understand too, that yes, you want the team to be winning for you to show up, but it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
The players get motivated when they see a full stadium. So if you're not showing up, but you expect the team to be winning, then it's difficult also. You know, the players need to see that they are getting that support, that this national team is about Belizean pride.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then we can't say, okay, this is the first game is at home, so you don't show up, and then the team, let's say the team wins, but then what then? You know, the negativity doesn't help. Let's just put it that way. If you're a real Jaguar fan, a Belizean fan, a fan of the players are doing a lot of sacrifices. I can tell you, personal sacrifices, and they want to feel that their sacrifice is being worth you coming out, the fans coming out to support them.
Yeah, and I guess this time, if fans don't want to make it for the FFB, let's make it for the players at least. Still, that if you don't want to support the federation, at least support the players, because at the end of the day, it's them. It's a sacrifice that they are doing, and it's them that are playing out there. So I guess everyone should show their support, regardless if it's a good or a bad time. Talking about results at the national team, one official match. Let's just clarify also from the new head coach, he has one official match under his belt, because the one that wasn't played, we surely don't count that as a loss on his performance. But he has one official match, competition match, and that was the last against Grenada on a 2-1.
Right.
So now we expect on the second one, it's a new process, so we must also understand that processes take time, and we must understand that many new players were incorporated, and then we see and appreciate what the older players, senior players were doing on the national team, and that's when many fans should also understand that the players we criticized at the beginning of being old and not giving the national team effort were doing a great job compared to where we are now. So I guess it's a respect, on a mutual respect between fans and federation and players in the country. Just to close off this live interview, I really do want to thank both of you and the marketing director that gave us the opportunity to have this live interview, whereby we wanted to clarify many issues concerning the national team, because I guess this is the proper way to address the issues being spread on social media, that you address them personally and give the Belizean public an insight on your side of the story, because there's always two sides. So, closing remarks from both of you?
Well, what Mr. Marron say, important that they come to support us. I work with Premier League in many countries, and what I say, when there is negative thing during some game, during the league, if they really believe in the change, if they really believe in the win, the first is the supporter. So I beg the supporter, don't think about political sides.
Yeah.
Don't think football federation. Think about really the country. Because from football federation, they give everything for these guys to improve. From my side, when I lost the game last time, I don't sleep for 3 days. So I give all myself.
Yeah.
I come here from Italy, far away from everything. I really give 100% for this country. So I want the supporter, I don't know, for the country, they must come to see this game. And to support the game. To support our player. Just this, I beg the supporter to, because really everybody in Football Federation, a lot, our technical director, with the youth team, Marin, they work very good. Even Mr. William Miguel, they work very good. I mean, sometimes they don't go to sleep, they work till the evening. Mr. Marlon, everybody in Football Federation, our GS, even the president, he really care about the result of this game. So please, I really, with professionalism, I beg everybody to come to watch the game.
Someone?
As well, Mr. Ayala, I must thank you and TNC10 for the opportunity to clarify or to clear the air. It's the same with us. We need the fan support. It's not for us, the federation, but it's more for the players. It's the players that are representing your country. And they go out there and they represent well, with pride and passion. But they need to get this, they need to feel that it's reciprocal from the fans as well. And like you were mentioning earlier, the price is only $20 before the match, and $30 at the gate on match day. The CONCACAF had placed a time of 3 p.m. on Thursday next for the match. But our president, Mr. Chuk, contacted them and said, you know what, for fans, the 3 p.m. isn't a good time. And so they agreed, and now the time is at 8 p.m.
So the game was changed?
It was changed from 3 to 8.
So it's a night game,
yes,
giving
night game
fans
will
a
be
so the
fun.
fans can come out.
Okay,
So we're doing our part.
that's a good move.
The players are doing our part. We're doing our part. The coaching staff is doing theirs. But the fourth piece that is missing right now is the fan support. And so we are asking the fans to come out and show their support for the players.
And we do hope fans show up for this Thursday game. We're 10th of October, whereby Belize takes leaders in Kitts Nevis. So really appreciate you guys, your time, and this is how we end this live interview. Clarify the national team issues and also what's coming up next in October 10th and 13th, whereby Belize will play 2 games against St Kitts Nevis home and away series. So I am Asrel Gonzalez, and for the rest of the small Acción Deportiva crew that made it this way, we want to thank everyone that tuned in, and we'll continue with the national team updates, so be on the lookout for our next videos. A pleasant Thursday, and may you enjoy.